Hey guys, it's Chris here again. I got a quick, short one for you here. I'm not going to make this as long as the last video I did on building a custom joystick controller up here. But I had an issue here where I had a control board fail. And I know you're looking at it because you see the potting off of it. Normally these things are covered in black. And I was crazy enough to peel that off and try to troubleshoot this and fix it. I did fix it. I'm just not using it because I thought that I had an issue with that and went and bought a brand new one, and I'd actually resolved that, and it was something else stupid. But as far as the immediate issue, I did correct it. In my previous video, I had told you all that my puppy had drug my communication line off, which will be my foot control line here. I had it exposed trying to build a controller for it, and she had shorted my data lines out in it. And I think a lot of problems is with you all having the motor error issue with these, where you think, oh, I've done everything. I've stowed the motor a billion times. You know, I've checked the fuse in the top. I've checked the fuse in the back. I've reset the power on it a billion times. I've repaired the remote, yada, yada, yada. You go through all these videos and you can't seem to get the resolution. So you end up buying a control board and bam, it fixes it. Well, I'll tell you why it fixed it. It's very simple. I think what's going on is there's getting water intrusion in this, or you've got a nick in your data line running out to your controller, which will be your foot controller. And this is on the 2017 Plus Terrovas with the Bluetooth enabled wired foot control. And what's actually going on, and I'm gonna flip my camera around and show you all what's actually going on with these things. There is on the communication line, there is a TVS diode, transient voltage suppression, and let's see if I can zoom in here a little better for you on my phone. You're going to see, and the only part you need to mess with, there's these data lines coming in. The one right here is going to be for your foot control, and this one is going to be for your actual GPS iPilot head. The one we want to focus on is this guy right here, and you can see this it's D11, meaning diode, D for diode 11, part number 11. And what it does, and I'm going to show you a picture here in a second, it is actually a transient voltage suppression or a specialty diode to protect your chipsets in here, protect your inputs. It's a non-serviceable part, but you can service it. And if you take and heat this area up, you don't got to go but a couple centimeters left of your bundle. Just kind of start picking at this thing, heat it up with a heat gun, not so hot that you're melting your wires. Heat it up with a heat gun and start chipping away at this, and you'll get to this part right here. There's only 3 parts in this area. There's this TVS diode, and then a resistor that is right here. I think it's a pull-up resistor for that input on the bus communication, and then a little chip of some kind. You don't need to get past about where the edge of my thumb is right here. You need to get in here and you need to chip that thing off. What it is, when this thing has a problem, it runs the purple communication line and the gray communication line. As you can see back here, this is in rough condition because I was not very good at figuring this out. But the pin on the top, that one right there, the upper right one, goes to the purple, and the pin on the bottom, this is 3 pins, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. The bottom one crosses over on a trace and goes over to the gray. It has 2 diodes in this TVS pack, and this one here goes to ground. So, and these actually jump around this stuff and go back to the chipset. I think through that pull-up resistor too as well. But what's happening when this diode pack fails, it grounds out these 2 inputs to negative, DC negative here. And it's just basically constantly grounding your communication line, basically bypassing anything coming through there to that. So you need to just take something and heat that up like a soldering iron, heat the 3 pins up on that and chip it off the circuit. And then you need to refill this with some kind of just dam this up. It won't be like this. You'll have like a little channel here that you make, and put some sort of soft epoxy back in here, something you can take out later if you need to, and fill that back in and weatherproof it. And I bet when you plug it back in, if you do what I'm saying, I bet that it quits saying motor error, and it actually works. What you don't want to do is these, and I didn't realize it because it was late and I wasn't paying attention. There is right, there we go, it's better camera angle, right here and right here. That is your motor and your battery negative. If these two leads are flipped around, they're not bonded together because of the way this thing's speed control works. If they are flipped around on accident and you did not pay attention to it, and I'll put a diagram up here how this is supposed to be wired, and you're tired like me, not paying attention, and you fix this or put a new control board in and your motor's running constantly, even when, as soon as you push that button on the bottom of the horseshoe of the terrova and that motor comes on over there and it cuts your stomach like mine, that's exactly why it's doing it. You've got your negatives flipped around from your motor and your battery, and you need to turn the power off and you need to flip those two things around, and I bet that resolves that problem. So there's kind of a 2-in-1 deal for you on some of the things that go on that are weird stuff that nobody really talks about on these terrovas. This is kind of outside the box kind of deal, you know, excessive of normal problems. But if you run into, if you're one of the few fillers that run into this type of problem, that is probably your motor error issue. If you tried everything I mentioned in the beginning of this video, like, you know, the list of things that they always want you to try, and they're like, nah, you need to go see a service dealer and you really need to get on the water, and this is the problem, that's how you fix it. And if you accidentally have fooled around with this thing in the control board, which is located inside here, you literally take that screw and that screw out, and the same thing on the other side, pop these two sides off, flip your motor up, and there's 2 little clips. You just take your fingers and squeeze it in, flip it up, and there'll be a couple screws inside here that you need to take your battery meter and everything, making sure all the power's off when you do this. And take pictures of the way the wires went on it. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, or you're tired like me and screw up. And take this thing inside, get your heat gun, heat that up. Be careful, don't gouge down. Just go sideways. If you find the edges potting, this board will be exposed right here in this corner. If you come over to right where that wire bundle is to the left side of it and start just kind of chipping slightly away at it, just keeping right next to them wires, you will eventually run into that little 3-pin black component. And just chip it away and make sure that none of your pads were touching, you know, pin to pin, or it's grounded across that. Make sure they're all just open, independent, and I bet your problem's resolved. So good luck, guys. Hope that takes care of your problem, and go get some fish.